Wow, what a nice evening that is. Look at that sunset. Lovely. Anyway, let's not get too distracted. So what I'm doing now is just kind of tidying up the rest of the light kind of clusters. Been soldering on some terminals, making that much smarter. So they're almost ready to go in. What I've also been doing is I've stripped some of the loom back and had to run this plug up to this point in the engine here because that was in the wrong place. So I've just stripped the loom tape back, split the loom up there. That's running up inside the chassis kind of leg, if that's what you want to call it. And yeah, so that all needs rewrapping, but that's okay, no big deal. I'm going to rewrap a lot of this ECU wiring as well. It's just got some PVC tape on there and I want that to look a lot neater. Maybe installing that inside some sort of box or something like that, not sure yet. And that'll be sitting behind the passenger seat or up in that area there. Yet to be decided. Now, another thing, as well as the electrics, I've managed to get the dashboard up in place. I've used two M8 bolts each side and found some suitable fixing points. So that's good. What I would like to do is put a couple more fixings in the middle just so that it's like super secure. And as you can see, that looks really smart. What I'll also be doing further down the line is restoring these clocks and dials, make them look really nice. I quite like the gold there, it really stands out, gold and black. But I've yet to decide on the colour scheme. I'll probably go Alcantara, maybe, you know, body colour blue across there or something. I'm not sure yet, I haven't worked that out. Now, what I do need to do is weld in some seat mounts. I haven't got any at the minute, so it makes sense to do that before all the electrics go in. Bit of a fire hazard having loads of wires laying around and welding inside. It's not the end of the world, I know, but it makes no sense to do it if I don't have to. What I have bought is some mounts or runners for the Cobra classic seats. These are specifically 330 millimeters. From front to back, the mounting holes, which tie up to the mounting holes under the Cobra Classic seat. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to keep these seats. They're a little bit tight on me. Not that I'm that fat either or that big, but yeah, I'll put them in for now, and then I'll maybe change them to something a little bit more racy further down the line. We'll see how that goes. But for now, these are going to be going in. I'm just kind of deciding on the seat to ground height or seat to floor pan height. I was sitting in it, make sure my legs went under. The deep dish steering wheel might be a little bit too deep, but I'm going to get some mounts kind of in place, welded in place, and let's see how that progresses over time. So I've got some metal work turn up. Let's get making some seat mounts, eh? So I think what I'll do is weld some square section steel tubing kind of there and there, running like that in that orientation. I usually find works quite well is if you get a drill, you can kind of feel the indentation. Now you can cut round that with a scalpel or drill it, but what I find works quite well, and I have to do sort of something similar at work actually, seats, is get yourself a countersink and just find where the indentation is for the mount and just whiz around it like that. And then you can pick out any material that you don't need out of there. Well, not that you don't need, you're not going to need that bit, or that you don't want. So, you see that? Nice thread showing. Again there. Pop that out of there. Last one. So, what I've got here is some square and spectacular sections of steel tubing. Now, I'm going to be using the square section here, and because it's more suitable for the needs of the for the runners. So I'll cut some of this up and then we shall crack on. I have just discovered something very strange, right? So we've got 330 millimeters between there and there. Now look at this. This is either the most amazing coincidence in the world, or it was designed like this. I've just measured across the middles of these two kind of chassis braces, as it were, and it's exactly 330, which I can't quite believe. So I don't actually need to have any extra bits going across there to mount to. I can just drill straight through there, through the floor, and bolt through the floor if I want. Now, the only thing with that is that it might be too low, the seat. So I'm going to put these rails or runners in position, put the seat on top of that, and see how it feels. It might be a little bit too low because I'm only small, so if I can't see over the top of the the dashboard, then it's not a lot of good, is it? So, all right, let's try it. It's probably a little bit too close. I know I've got a little bit of backwards adjustment, but it might not be enough. It's probably only about 3 inches backwards. My gut feeling is that that is just a little bit too low, that seat. So I'm going to do some rails after all. I think what I'm going to do with the bracketry is just build up the front so it's higher. Oh, see that colour change? It's weird, LED lights play havoc with these phones. Yeah, so I just want a little bit more tilt on the chair, I think, or on the seat. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than I wanted, but driving position is everything, isn't it? So let's crack on.
Got the kit car blues, baby, it's true. YouTubers to keep happy, yes, that's you. Dash need a fixin', really not secure. Let's add more screws just to be sure. Let's crack.
So there's the box section in place. Now, I'm thinking I might do that longer, just because the next person that buys this might want to kind of set this seat back. I'm only 5'6". If the next guy who buys it is 6'2", then this seat isn't going to go back far enough for the person. Not that I'm going to sell my car, obviously, but if I was to make this kind of this long, it gives the next person the option of kind of drilling it and setting the seat back. So I think I'll do that.
Fix this right, it'll only take a year. To myself I lied. 3 years later, I'm still jiving. Just wanna be in my Covin driving.
So what I think I'm going to do is have the seat offset to the left. And the reason for that is because that area in there is quite small, and it feels really weird. If I have that in the centre, then my legs are kind of wonky, and I don't like offset pedals at all. I know some cars have them, and I've driven a lot of vintage classics where that's the case, but I don't want that in my car. So, yeah, going to offset that off to the left, which means I've got quite a big gap there, but actually that might prove to be useful for a fire extinguisher, or, as you know, I've got coolant tubes running under the car at the minute with like a skid plate, but that could be problematic. I've yet to drive the car, and I may need to lower the car, so it gives me some options to run the coolant tubes inside the car if necessary. So I'm getting there with the positioning now. The seat feels kind of the right distance away from the pedals. That feels nice with like an inch kind of kick up at the front. That gives me some a bit of tilt.
Brackets for the seats, gotta fabricate, gotta finish. The bonnet don't look so great. The wiring loom won't install itself. Parts ain't much use, sat on my shelf. Let's crack on and fix this right. It'll only take a year. To myself I lied. 3 years later, I'm still jiving. Just wanna be in my Covin driving.
So what I'm thinking of doing is having some kind of anti-crush tube inside here. If I was just to put the runner on top, then bolt straight through and then tighten it, this would deform very slightly. Not a great big deal, but it would be nicer if it didn't, obviously. So if I make some kind of tubes or something in there that are kind of 37mm-ish, that could be an interference fit. It doesn't need to be welded in. laying around. It's a bit thicker wall than I wanted, but I think it'll be all right. I ordered it in for work and didn't end up using it for a project. So that's what I'll use. So there's the frames done. Now I'm just having a little think. If I weld this frame into position, then obviously I'm not going to have any adjustability back towards the middle, because I've offset it towards the left to align with the pedals. Now that's all well and good, but let's say the next person wants to buy a bigger seat, or I want to buy a bigger seat, and I need more clearance on the left here, then I'm not going to be able to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is weld some little tabs on here and give myself some room for adjustability, you know, further down the line. I don't want to be angle grinding welds off, really. That's going to be rubbish. That side can be welded on because that's going to stay in the center. So let's make some tabs for this and I'll show you what I mean.
If you like this channel, then get subscribed and smash the thumbs up button. Don't be vibing. Algorithm needs feeding, no escaping. YouTube got me kid car making. Let's crack on and fix this ride. It'll only take a year, to myself I lied. 3 years later, I'm still jiving. Just wanna be in my Covin, driving.
Right, I think it makes sense. I'm a tent maker. I think it makes sense to leave this video here. I've achieved what I wanted, and that's made a kind of fully adjustable frame. Well, not fully adjustable, but removable, so that can be kind of moved across. So I've got the captive nuts underneath. So that's good, we don't have to muck around with nuts underneath. So the seat runners will bolt straight down onto that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.